Proverbs 28:2, for the transgression of a land, many are the princes thereof. But by a man of understanding and knowledge, the state thereof shall be prolonged. And in verse 4, they that forsake the law praise the wicked. Hi, I'm Claude, and welcome to Brother Claude Reflects, a YouTube channel dedicated to sharing the truths of God's Word and exposing fake preachers, fake prophets, and fake apostles. Thanks for tuning in, and please hit the like, subscribe, and share buttons. Please check out MARYSUE's channels. MARYSUE, by the way, in case you didn't know, she's my wife.
Hi, everybody.
Check out her YouTube channels, SUZYQKNICKKNACKS, Reseller, Cooking with MARYSUE, and Gardening in the Delta. We need to, pretty soon, do another Gardening in the Delta.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, now, before you sing, why don't you tell us about your book?
Okay, you can hold it up there for me. We'll make a
Okay.
good pop. That's a book I wrote about a little cat outside that lives with us named Miss Kitty. She's always on our gardening videos with us. You can see her on there. But you can find this on Amazon, eBay, Barnes & Noble, and iTunes. It was published by Christian Faith Publishing House just a few months ago.
And what's this little gold thing?
My gold sticker, yes, it won an award recently for the best book in children's interest category for summer 2021.
Okay, I was going to get around here to the organ, but I finally made it.
We just did this at church today, so it's still kind of fresh in my head. That's good. There is a name I love to hear, I love to sing His word. It sounds like music in my ear, the sweetest name on earth. Oh, how I love Jesus. Oh, how I love Jesus. Oh, how I love Jesus, because He first loved me.
There's just something about a Christian song with an organ. They just seem to go together. I'm sure you're all aware of the debacle of Afghanistan, where Biden ordered all the troops out, leaving behind billions of dollars of Army equipment, including helicopters and jet planes, believe it or not, as well as bombs, as well as leaving behind thousands of helpless Americans. Shouldn't there be a law against arming the enemy, colluding with a foreign power? I remember studying about Benedict Arnold, but I guess the word traitor no longer applies in America. Along with that is that the drone strike that Biden ordered killed not an enemy who hadn't done anything with the suicide bombing, which killed 13 American soldiers, but killed 10 innocent people. Oops, sorry, said the general. But an apology won't bring back those innocent lives that an inept president ordered killed. Here's a headline. Biden congratulated Newsom, talking about the governor of California, who faced a recall because of his stupidity. And he won, if I can use that word to describe a fraudulent election. Anyway, Biden congratulated Newsom after the recall election and told him to focus on climate. Of course, don't focus on taxes. California is the second highest tax state behind New York. Don't focus on the homeless. Los Angeles itself has 35,000 homeless, which we will get to in a few minutes. Don't focus on the thousands of people moving out of the state every day because of your stupid policies, but focus on the climate that neither you nor anyone else can do anything about. Another headline, U.S. discussed expanding troop presence in Australia. This, while at the same time pulling troops out of Afghanistan and a crisis on our own southern border. Shouldn't we be protecting our own border? Australia doesn't have any borders. They're an island. This is a symptom of deranged leadership. Another headline: security very tight around U.S. Capitol ahead of far-right rally. Stop here. Has the press ever used the phrase far left? Have they ever used the phrase left-wing radical or left-wing extremist? Of course not. Those peaceful demonstrators who burned down Seattle were just having a peaceful protest. Here's a novel idea. Instead of focusing on security around the Capitol, why don't you send troops to our own border with Mexico to protect us from the influx of tens of thousands of people daily who we know nothing about? For all we know, many of them could be terrorists. Why is Biden trying to force all Americans to become vaccinated when he doesn't require those coming into the country either legally or illegally, as in the case of the illegal aliens, which the Democrats like to call undocumented immigrants? They're not documented because they're here illegally, and they're not immigrants because they're here illegally. Why don't you Democrats call them what they are, illegal aliens? And why don't you Democrats stop them at the border and turn them back? Another headline, this one from CBS. Federal, state, and local officials on a high alert ahead of protests. It's talking about in the Capitol. Why weren't they on the high alert in Seattle, in Portland, and around the country last year? Why are they not on high alert on Texas border with Mexico? Over 308,000 came across the border from Mexico into the United States in the month of August. That's 308,000 welfare, food stamp, free health care, free housing illegals. Do you wonder why your taxes are so high and going higher? Somebody has to pay for all of these illegals. They sure aren't paying taxes. They're getting paid under the table in cash. Biden has said he's not going to send any of them back, that he, in fact, is going to give amnesty to all. That will include citizenship and the right to vote. And guess what party they're going to vote for? Biden is destroying America and setting up a whole new country under Democrat dictatorship. All of these ball players who kneel when the national anthem is played are traitors, and so are the people who pay money to support them. If you're one of these, you should be ashamed of yourself for supporting these leeches on America. They suck money out of the U.S. economy while cursing us, and you're foolish enough to pay them to do it. These lowlifes are living the high life on your dollar. Biden is proposing a corporate tax rate of 26.5%. He actually wanted 28.5, but now he's asking only 26.5. I asked MARYSUE if she knew what that would do to the American economy, and what did you say, MARYSUE?
Well, it's only common economics. If a company has to pay more in taxes, how are they going to pay it? They're going to pay it by laying off people so they have money to pay the taxes, or they're going to raise the price of goods, which will hurt the whole economy. Everybody has to pay more for the goods, so it's a no-win situation.
Yeah, it's a lose, 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 lose situation. Why can't these Democrat idiots in Washington understand that? When you raise taxes, Even if you claim to raise them only on the rich, you harm everyone. Biden has proposed tax increases for, he says, the rich. Ocasio-Cortez went to a gala affair recently wearing a couture gown with "Tax the Rich" written across the back. I'm sure that gown cost several $1,000s. Tickets for this affair were $35,000. If she's not rich, how could she afford the $35,000 for a ticket? She may not have paid it, but accepting a gift like that is illegal. I don't know whether she paid for the ticket or someone gave it to her, but we need to find out about that. Democrats want to tax the rich, but exempt themselves. Getting back to the corporate tax rate hike, as MARYSUE said, when they increase taxes on corporations, corporations cut back. They lay people off, working people, middle-class people, people like you and me. They raise the cost of goods and services. That means when you go to the store to buy something, whether it's flashlight batteries or chewing gum, it will cost you more. Who does that hurt? The working man and working woman. Democrats don't seem to be able to grasp this simple mathematical equation. I was terrible in math. I still am. I flunked algebra. I still don't understand how x plus y minus 2 equals 0.375. It just doesn't resonate with me. I don't see how you can add letters. And I have yet to use any of that in my working life. One of these days, I'm going to do a program on the education, or I should say, the uneducation system in America. Why are we spending millions, nay, billions of dollars a year teaching children things they will never use in their life? Guess what? I went to college one year. Guess what they taught me to do? Dissect frogs. I never in my whole working life had the opportunity to dissect a frog. In the process, they teach them that all white people are bad. All white people are racist. They're not teaching, they are brainwashing. And it needs to stop. If I had a school-age child, I would send him or her to a private school or homeschool them. I would not turn them over to these radical socialist Democrats in the NEA. Do we teach children how to achieve financial independence? No. We teach them George Washington Carver invented peanut butter. They don't learn George Washington was the father of our country, but they sure know who invented peanut butter and peanut oil. They learn get a job, work hard, retire at 65 or 70, and draw a pittance pension and a pittance Social Security check, which dies when you do. I need to do a program on social insecurity, the biggest Ponzi scheme in American history. Talk about a ripoff of the American worker. Hey, I've got to cut it short, and we'll close right here and come back with part 2 later on. Thanks for tuning in. May God bless you, and I hope to see you in heaven someday.